solve your audio issues. Other than that, I am going to let you take it away, Dan.
Hey, quick question, Tina. So when I'm finished talking, do I just mute my mic so
Yes.
so there's no echo?
Right. So a really good trick that Curtis showed everyone yesterday is if you actually keep your mics on mute and then just hold down the one button, it will turn on your mic like kind of like a walkie-talkie. So then you don't have to, keep remembering to turn off and on the mic.
Okay, I'm going to try that right now. That didn't work.
So
you just have to keep it pushed.
You got to hold down the one button.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. How's it all going today? I tell you what, this has been a pretty exciting time for me with EXP. This cloud-based system is just incredible. How about that John Gordon, Power of Positive Thinking, amazing motivational speaker. This week, I personally enjoyed listening to the top producing agents share their ideas on marketing, different sales techniques, revenue share growth ideas, and of course, all the information we learned from the shareholders meeting. I am grateful to be part of this wonderful organization. It's a very exciting time to be an EXP agent. We are definitely on a rocket ship. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Before we get started, just a few housekeeping rules, as Tina had said. If you would please just all your mics need to be muted and reserve all your questions for the Q&A portion later on today. To zoom in on the main presentation, click the screen zoom button at the top of your screen. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Contino, and I'm located in a small community called Mystic, Connecticut, just south of the state of Rhode Island. South of Route 95 along the ocean. It's a beautiful, beautiful location, many seaports, marinas, and beaches. I'm near Watch Hill and Stonington Borough. It's a very pretty area, expensive as heck. This happens to be my 31st year as a realtor. I guess you could say I have a lot of grit. I became a realtor when I was 26 years old. We had no statewide MLS. We had a poor dial-up internet connection. But for a short time, we had an MLS book. How about that? Every house for sale was in the book. One black and white photo, a short description of the property. Talk about value proposition or defining a core element of value. We were in control, man. Boy, things have changed. Or did they? Does anyone remember those days? In the chat box, if you can type the number of years you've been a realtor in the chat box, I'd appreciate that. I just kind of want to get a feel for the experience of the audience. All right, well, I guess I'm an old guy. All right, so today we're going to start by discussing how each and every one of these icon panelists has adapted over the last few years to all the challenges with technology, video, social media marketing, CRMs, lead generation, and tracking. We're looking for a few golden nuggets today to take back with us. Then at the end of the session, I have one final question for all the panelists to answer. They'll have 2 minutes to answer my question. You don't want to miss it. All right, today I have the honor of introducing to you these top 4 producing agents from across the country. They are Mac and Renee Friedrich from El Dorado Hills, California, Sean Cheney from Swanton, Vermont, the New England states, Eric Steinhoff from the Blue Crab state of Maryland, and Kelly Zimmerman from Wheatland, California. Today we're going to start with Mac and Renee. If you can tell us a little bit about yourselves, your exact location of where you do your business, years with EXP, and any specialties that you bring to the table. Mac, Renee?
Hey, it's Mike, and he said that I could have the pleasure. So hi, I'm Renee Friedrich with obviously EXP Realty. Mike's been in the business for 16 years, and I joined him reluctantly 3 years later. So I've got 13 years now. And it's honestly been like the best decision we ever made was joining forces and being in the business together. So husband and wife team, we're located in the greater Sacramento area, which encompasses Sacramento, Placer County, and El Dorado County primarily. And we live in El Dorado Hills, which is just outside of Folsom on Highway 50. and we're like an hour and a half to Lake Tahoe, which is one of our favorite places. Our first 13 years in the business were with Keller Williams, and now we've been 3.5 years with EXP. And I would say our specialty has been leveraging our community involvement to grow our sphere, and then also navigating the contingent sale. We do it almost exclusively sell-bys.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, sorry about that, Mike. Renee, that's awesome. Awesome information. All right, let's move on to Sean. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Sean.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Sean Cheney from Swanton, Vermont. I've got about 8 years in real estate now. I worked with a mom and pop organization to begin with there, a boutique brokerage, and then I went to a little larger company. I think they're getting ready to close soon, but Keller Williams. So I worked there for about 6 years. Loved it. Great company. I was ALC member there for 5 of my 6 years there, and really kind of enjoyed the concept of it. I guess I was there 5 years total, but I was ALC member every year that I was there. I got into it because I was working as a property investor already, and I was full-time in the military. I had been in the Marines for 4 years, and then I'd had another 12, 14 years in the Army at that point, all active time, and I was active National Guard, taught mountaineering, and high angle sniper courses and things like that. I was competing on the national level with that type of stuff, and really enjoyed it. Got into buying apartments. I'd bought some old rotten buildings and started switching them over and getting into it. And I got to the point where after having 10, 12 apartments, I started making about half as much on that side as I was in the military. So I switched gears. I went from full-time military to part-time military and full-time realtor. And I got my real estate license at that point. I was just doing it on my own as an investor. But that's grown now to 32 apartments and wind turbine projects. I've got a couple hundred acre, more like 350 acres or so in New York. And so we really got things going on that level. And I decided to launch EXP for Vermont. It was actually May of 18, so we're about to come up on our 2-year anniversary now, and I absolutely loved KW. I had the most sales at the market center the entire time I was there, and it was a very busy, very productive market center. For those of you former KW folks, Adam Hergenrother owned the market center. He was a good friend of mine. I've known his wife for forever. Went to college with my sister. We were good friends, and so it was a tough thing to launch this. Having worked in his market center, because he was such a great mentor, but at the same time, I needed to take the next step, and he knew that, and they actually were very good about kind of letting me head out the door, with a pat on the back. Good luck, Sean, and they're very professional about it. So it was a good transition. But this has been such a breath of fresh air, getting Vermont going, and I'm actually transitioning out of the position now to just focus on sales. I do have a team. I've averaged 75 sales myself every year, and for the last 6 years, and I did 81 last year alone. Those are just my numbers, but I do run a team. I've got 5 other agents beyond that, and we're doing anywhere from 120 to 140 transactions a year now. So that's kind of my story.
Pretty awesome, Sean. I mean, you definitely hustle, that's for sure. And 32 apartments. Do you have any partners with your apartment investing?
I don't. I'm kind of a lone gun on all those. I'm fortunate. I grew up with my father did site work, excavation, backhoe dozer type work, and my brother's a builder. So we've been around that stuff for a long time. So it's I got some backing when it comes to getting help on them. But no, I'm a lone gun on all those.
Very good. Awesome. Eric, can you tell us about yourself and your exact location, years in the business, and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been a realtor for about 9 years. We're in Frederick, Maryland. We actually specialize our business in a neighborhood of about 3,500 homes, which is in Urbana, Maryland. And about 4 years ago, we joined EXP. We've been an Icon agent every year. About 5 years ago, my wife joined me in the business. So it's my wife and I. Her name's Amy, and our daughter Brooke just joined us about 4 or 5 months ago. And we've averaged the last 4 years about 30 million in sales, about 75 transactions, and we just really enjoyed every moment of it. And we really like working together as a family. It's sometimes an interesting dynamic, but we really enjoy it.
That's pretty cool. Is both your wife and daughter selling as well?
They do. So my daughter does selling right now. I do selling. My wife kind of runs the whole operation. She runs the business and owns it, and really she just manages my schedule and tells me what to do and where to go. And she has better management skills than I do, and I probably have better sales skills than her. So we both do our own thing. She runs the operation, and I'm the eye candy.
All right, got it. All right, Kelly, you're up. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. I am located in, I'm also in the greater Sacramento area, but a little bit more north from Renee and Mac, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Mike.
Okay, Mike. So I'm in Yuba, Sutter, and my primary focus is the great city of Wheatland. We are a little farm town. We have an Air Force base here. There's about 3,500 people here. And I moved here just 9 years ago after, the father of my children passed away, and we just kind of reinvented ourselves. We moved to Wheatland, and I met some amazing people. And one of my neighbors actually was a realtor, and she helped me get my license. And I've had my license probably about 5.5 years. And I started at a little boutique brokerage, and I loved those ladies over there. I had an amazing broker, but I really felt to continue to grow, I needed, more technology and more support. And I came across these ladies that are in the audience supporting me today. And they were top producers. They were killing it. They were with EXP. And I just wanted to surround myself with these ladies and their positive vibes, and really they have been such an amazing support, and we collaborate together. And I've been with EXP for about 2.5 years now, and I have a little branch office here in town. And I just feel like every year I'm selling more and more houses and getting bigger. And let's see, last year I closed 41 transactions. So that was the best year so far. And I'm on track to beat that this year, even despite of COVID-19. And I would say, my superpower is personal connections. And I really utilize those connections to, grow my sphere every day. And because I was able to reinvent myself and just kind of come back and really be able to support my kids and grow as a person. I love supporting new agents and teaching them how to, be successful and run their own businesses. And I think I see like at least 3 of my mentees in the crowd right now. So I love all you ladies. Thank you for supporting me. And I'm really excited to be here. That's it.
Thanks, Kelly. That's awesome. So sorry to hear about your loss. And Sean, thanks for serving your time in the military. Appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go back to Mike and Renee, and if you can just share with us a little bit more detail about how you adapted over the last 5 or 10 years with all the changes that has affected real estate. I mean, social media is huge, video. I really would like to talk about how you leverage the community. That seems like your niche. That's going to be really informative.
Sure, I'll take the first few points, and then Renee's going to take over. So I think the first big adaptation that we had was when we were looking at, after Renee had joined us in 2007, in 2008, we were doing okay, but we knew we could do so much better. And we were looking at the top agent in the office, and he was coaching with Mike Ferry. So Mike Ferry had a seminar in town, and we ended up joining after attending the seminar, and did one-on-one coaching, which propelled us and really made a big difference in the business. And back then, there was not a lot of technology. Those of you who know Mike Ferry, he is very prospecting based. So I think the only technology we had was the 1-800 home info line that we put on top of our listing panels. And I think at that time we found the Mojo dialer, which had just come out. That's the only technology that we had aside from a Property Minder IDX website. And then, I mean, obviously everything went crazy in 2008-9, and we embraced the short sales very early on. And by the time everybody else figured out that that's the only game in town aside from REOs, we had already gained a good portion of the market share. And we just rolled with it. Back then, technology, Short Sale Commander, Short Sale Genius, things like that. So more the software side of things. And then after 2012, we kind of had to reinvent ourselves a little bit because we had to go back to what we consider a normal market. And that's when really the most of the stuff came in as far as technology and things like that. So I'll have Renee take over from here.
Yeah, when we started having sellers that had equity, we weren't really quite sure how to talk to them. It was pretty funny. We were like, wait a minute, you're going to get a check at the end of all of this. That's so exciting. And they were like, of course we are. And we're like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is new. So that was kind of a fun thing, because all I knew was down for the whole time that I was in real estate. So when 2012 hit, that was really, we really did have to reinvent ourselves. And so during all of that time, though, from about 2007, Mike had gotten involved with our local Rotary and with our local chamber. And I had a girlfriend whose husband was in Rotary with Mike that said, hey, you know, you should join Junior League of Sacramento. It's like Rotary for girls and there's wine. And so I was a fan of getting out of the house because we had 2 young boys and I love wine. So she sold me right there. And quickly, I loved the mission of the league. And so both Mike and I were really involved with those nonprofits. And both of us sat on the board for them within a short amount of time. And yeah, I just saw one of the chats. Yes, Rotary for Girls with Wine. It was a perfect sales pitch. But really, we were able to grow our sphere, like I said in the intro, through those organizations. And a lot of our business, other than expireds and short sales, was really coming from our sphere that we were growing pretty dramatically by being leaders in those organizations. So that was really fun. Other things that we did, though, because we had done well in the short sales, we were able to move our family to a little bit better school district and a little higher price point. So we did that at the end of 2011, which really helped us with being able to sell about the same number of houses, but make more money, which is one of my favorite things. And we did start to invest in Google pay-per-click, managed by whatever platform we were using at the time, which we've tried almost all of them. So if you ever have a platform question of why should I use this one versus that one, we have literally tried, I'm going to go through the list really quickly. So we did Boomtown, Conversion, Commissions Inc., Brivity, briefly tried Firefox, then we did Curator, and now we're working with Sierra Interactive. And, you know, it's a pretty inexpensive platform and keeps us, you know, kind of separate from, anyway, we've always been fans when we were at Keller Williams of not having our IDX be the brand's IDX, just for various reasons. So we've kept that separate and not done KV Core with EXP, which, you know, I'm sure we can make an argument to do it the other way around. But we also learned that we're not necessarily the type of agent that does really good with that speed to lead per se, or at least we weren't at the time. We weren't set up that way. And so we weren't doing very well with converting the online leads. So we did switch to a geographic farm that's here locally and has a good price point and really good turnover. And we're really starting to see the fruits of that right now. And about 2.5 years ago, after fighting them forever, we did start investing in Zillow at the, we coach with Tom Ferry now. So he's a big Zillow fan. I know that, you know, they can be the devil for sure, but we are getting about a 5 times return on our investment with them. So that's been a really good investment. And then we're just now starting to do a lot more video, some hyper-local content to really kind of stay focused in this Folsom El Dorado Hills area. We actually had some business in Wheatland, and then we were able to refer some of the leads that we got to Kelly. So that was kind of fun to be able to not have to drive that far to take care of some clients. So yay, Kelly. And then I think moving forward, we're going to work on increasing our presence on Instagram and then add a little bit more with LinkedIn as well.
Well, that's awesome. You guys are great. So for you new agents out there, what she was saying is by putting yourself out there with those local communities, local Rotary, the local Chamber of Commerce, what an awesome way to get in front of people, business people. and you share your ideas, you share everything, and those leads will start coming in. Renee, as far as the Zillow goes, are out here in Connecticut, they no longer charge per month or per zip code. How are you guys doing it out there? Is it you still pay for the leads?
Yeah, we're still paying a monthly. I think that there's an option where you can do a percentage at the close of escrow, but we are still doing a monthly, and we split that with one of our lenders. So the 5 times return, that's actually on our total spend, but we split that spend with our lender. So we're, even better really when you look at the return. We've closed 66,000 in commissions with Zillow leads this year so far, and we spend 2,500 a month, but we only spend 1,250.
Right. So you're sharing that with your mortgage broker. So I think sometimes you can have 2 as well. So that's a great idea for your new people out there. It's something to think about. Thank you, Renee and Mike. We're going to move over to Sean now. Sean, can you share with us in detail a little bit more about your technology and video marketing, CRMs and such?
I sure can, yeah. So when it comes to CRMs, I've used a handful. I've used Brevity. I've done Top Producer, 5 Street, which is through Realtor.com. We have switched things over to KV Core now. I still keep my 5 Street on the side. I have the 2 of them just kind of going in there because it doesn't really cost me anything to keep at this point. It's through Realtor.com. But I can tell you the best CRM that I've ever seen is the one that you use. And I think that's the most important part, is that most of us underutilize CRMs. There's usually a lot more technology than many of us utilize. And the best one out there is the one you use. And I say that as in, if you don't use it, just because you've bought it and you're paying for it, it's not going to go anywhere for you. You got to keep that database built. And so how do we build a database? I've chosen to go down the route of, okay, I think I'm early in my career now. I mean, I'm 45, I've got 8 years in now, but I think I got years to go. I want to build now. I'm at the point where I need to meet as many people as possible. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm doing that through the online advertising right now. And I'm using the Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, ZBuyer, Facebook Marketplace, any of those places that I can get out to. I'm just getting out in as many places as possible. And I am overspending right now. And I say that as in, I don't intend to spend this later on in life. I want to work more on my database and work those spheres, the have-mets. But I got to meet them first. So how do I get in front of them? I don't want to lose them to the other agents that are in my market center. I'm big on working local. Working locals is huge. And you got to build a moat around where you are first, right? Once you build that wall, then at that point start growing out. I see a lot of new agents that'll just not really have direction, and they'll just kind of scatter themselves all over. I see them working in in a 45-minute, 1-hour circle, sometimes beyond that. I've had agents that went, oh, I'm going 2 hours to go look at this. I'm not doing that. That's just ridiculous. If I can work in one area, I can maximize my time. And until I've dominated that area, why would I move on? It doesn't make sense to. You'll have more comfort level working in those areas, as in you'll know the town or county clerks, you'll know where the the resources are. You'll actually be able to sell the area. I don't need to sell a house. The house sells itself. That box is going to be what they want or they don't want. What I got to sell is everything else besides that, right? My opinion doesn't matter when it comes to the house. It's their opinion. But where I really kick in is going, okay, here's the deal with the construction on the property. This place looks good or it doesn't. But beyond that, here's what your neighborhood looks like. Here's what your other areas are. Here's your recreational things. Here's where your school is. All those things that people just may not understand about an area. And that's where I can really benefit, is by using that circle. Kelly had brought up, pushing out and staying that one area. It's huge for me. I've been a BNI, so BNI is another good atmosphere to try. Education for me is probably one of the number one things. I take class after class, and I don't do it all the time, but I put my head down. Like when there's a conference right now, when there's a family reunion or mega camp that we used to go to, and now we do EXPCon and Shareholders. If I can go to a conference and just put my head down and really dive into education for 3 or 4 days and focus on that, it's huge. If you think about the 1 hour you're going to sit here for, if I can get one thing out of this class that helps me sell one more property, what's the hourly wage you just put on yourself? It's huge. So I can pay a referral to somebody, and then that's mindless. But what if I just sit through this class and learn one thing that helps me get one more sale? You just paid yourself, probably thousands at that point of what the referral would have cost. So think of your hourly wage as just exactly that. I'm upping it every time I get good education. And one thing that we did, I built a local mastermind here. I say I built it. I was a part of it. There was about 10 of us that started. We got up to around 14 or 15, and we usually stayed around 6 to 10 that were regular on it. And we don't have as realtors, most of us don't have this massive company where we can have a board of directors. So if you're starting out and you've got maybe a couple people as buyer's agents, or you're a loan agent out there and you're struggling, who do you go to, right? You don't have those things that a big company has. Well, we built a mastermind group, and the people are in it. We're all of different businesses, so we're not competing against each other, right? When I used to work in my market center, sure, I pitched classes there, and there was other realtors that worked there and pitched classes, but how much are they really going to give you? Are they going to really give you the full spectrum? When I go with these guys, and I say guys and gals that are in the group, we're all in different businesses. We got an attorney in there. We've got a lender in there, commercial and residential lender in there. We've got insurance guys in there. Got a guy who owns a gym, keeps us on track, health wise. And everybody in that circle is all just trying to run their business. And we're finding out that, we're all having the same problems, which in most cases is staff. How do I get good staff? And so those people we've had a chance to bounce off and really drop it out there. I mean, really give it the full spectrum of what it is I've got going on, good or bad, right? And we share the good and the bad, like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that, or what should I do? You can't go to your buyer's agents and have that conversation. You can't go to your admin. You may not even be able to go to your family. But these folks were here to help each other, and they're really good people. So if I could give you one thing that would really help, build a mastermind group, but make sure they're all of different businesses. Go across the spectrum on businesses so that you're not competing against each other, and they're not afraid to talk about their trade secrets. It's been very powerful for me. But we've gone full in with the online marketing at this point. I used to do newspaper a bunch, kind of backed off on the newspaper, and really pushed towards the online marketing on just what I said before, the Facebook Marketplace, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, just to try to get as many people in front of us as possible, and really push that end of it. So.
Wow, a lot of good information, Sean. I really appreciate that. So one thing he said that I'm gonna back him with it, because this is my 31st year. When I started real estate in 1989, I had a top producer CRM. I still have top producer CRM. Think about that. And my wife, every time we met someone, went on a showing, buyer, seller, renter, investor, they're all tagged in there. They all have their different names. I listed every past client as a 1989 past seller or past client, right up to 2020. I'm telling you right now, I fall out of bed and easily make $250,000 because I've been touching those people over and over and over again for many, many, many years. I have friends that say, "How do you sell so much?" That's my secret weapon right there. A huge database of good quality past clients is so important. Okay, let's go on to Kelly. Can you share with us?
Sure. So, I said it earlier, I've only been selling real estate for about 5.5 years, and I had only lived in this community for just a couple of years before I got my real estate license. So I really had to get to work building my sphere, and a lot like Renee and Mike, I focus a lot on my community service. I started our little Friends of Wheatland Facebook group. I'm an admin there. We have about 4,000 people there, and I'm constantly helping nonprofits in this town. I will share some of my marketing skills to help them advertise their events. I created a community calendar website. Actually met a gal in workplace that helped me build it, which was super cool. And so all of the nonprofits, they bring me all their events. We manage all of the community events online on this website. And then it's been 2 years now, I have a mailer that goes out to every door in this town, in this zip code. It's about 1,750 people. They get my community calendar, and people put it on their fridge and they keep it there all month long. That has been really, really cool to just see how how I used that calendar to bring value to people, and they thank me, and they tag me with their little calendars when they get them, and just volunteering my time. I had kids in the high school, so I was really involved with the sober grad night planning and the boosters. And once they all graduated, I actually brought a seroptimist group to our town. We didn't have a seroptimist in our area. And I was able to team up with some other ladies and start a new seroptimist group. So really the community involvement has been huge for me. I was the top listing agent in my zip code last year, and I would say that it all comes from the community involvement and giving back to my community. And I sponsor little league teams, and my banners on the football field, and every event has an awesome raffle basket from me. And that's just really kind of my bread and butter. As far as technology, I started out with Zillow leads, and I've actually completely cut off all of my Zillow spend. I'm not purchasing leads. I'm stuck in a realtor contract for a little bit more, but I'll probably quit my realtor contract as well. I'm killing it on Google. I'm amazed by Google. You just post inside there and get reviews and have your KV Core links in there, and I get a lot of business through my Google. So that's kind of my real focus right now, is just growing my YouTube channel and my Google. We started doing like tours of our community and interviewing like the principal of the middle school and things like that, so that when people are planning on moving to Wheatland, which we have a lot of military that come into the area, we have all of the information about the community on our YouTube channel. So that's been our focus. And one thing that I did that was huge was really just evaluate what my weaknesses are and hire employees to take over those portions of my job. I like to go out and meet people and be social and show houses. Sitting at my desk working on transaction forms and things like that is not it's not one of my strengths. So having an in-house TC and an assistant to help me in those areas, and that keeps all my transactions running smoothly, and the assistant helps me keep new content on all of my social media sites, and she's actually become my videographer. So that was just kind of a huge investment that I made, and it's paid off a lot, just having that extra person that's helping me grow. And so I would just say, that with the Google and the community involvement is really just what's helping me stay top of mind and dominate my market. The CRM that I use is Wise Agent. We started that last year, and that's really been working for me. And I also, my KV Core, we do share our KV Core links, and we do custom websites on all of our listings, which actually they just forward the custom website to my KV Core. So we actually are getting a lot of activity inside the KV Core, and converting some of those leads as well. But that's about it.
Wow, Kelly, you made a serious impact in a short amount of time, and that is just awesome. You really leverage that social media, is what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. Rick, we're gonna jump over to you now.
Okay. So I always, when we talk about technology, I always kind of laugh, because when I started in business, technology to me was being able to send an attachment with my cell phone. And I was a pure salesperson and really didn't have a lot of technological skills. So we originally just started our business and went to every social event we could, every barbecue, every poker game. I wasn't a great poker player. My wife joined book clubs, Pokino, and we just made our circle of friends as large as we could, and built our business that way. We built up to about $20 million a year doing that. Then we had to get a little serious about our business. I want to say one thing that's not necessarily technology related. Probably our biggest mistake we made in the early days was we didn't have a proper profit and loss statement, and we weren't able to track our expenses and track our income and our taxes, and that really was a big mistake. As a business owner, you got to have a P&L, or you're just kind of kidding yourself. So we adapted pretty quickly there financially, and now we run QuickBooks Online, and we have just an absolute great P&L every month, and we review where all of our leads come from, what our cost is, what our profit is, what we're closing, project taxes, make sure we're paying up our taxes. Probably 78% of realtors behind in their taxes, and there's a lot of entrepreneurial poverty in this world, and there's a lot of realtor poverty in this world. So without a P&L and taking a profit out, you can't squash sort of realtor poverty. But we did adapt. We got a CRM about 4 years into business. We use Contactually as a CRM. But we also, when we joined DXP about 4 years ago, we came across a gentleman by the name of Hank Avik, and he's a coach, and I never had a coach before. And Hank teaches a class that he calls 36 to Life or Relationship Selling, and essentially you'll hear him talk about 50, 20, 5, and 1. And we adopted that for social media and Facebook, and we really view Facebook as our CRM today. Keep in contact with our clients, and we keep communication up with our clients really by Facebook. That's our primary way of staying in touch with our sphere of influence. We also, since we focus in on a small neighborhood of about 3,500 homes, a small area, large neighborhood, just by going to Starbucks, well, pre-COVID-19, just by going to Starbucks at a grocery store, we're touching our customer base, because we'll see 10, maybe 15 people every time we go out, and we have meaningful conversation with them. It doesn't center around real estate, more centers around life and how things are going there. We also we use KV Core to a certain extent. We do use Zillow. So we started off our business with a Zillow zip code. In the middle years, I would say we got away from Zillow, and we're back with Zillow. Zillow has changed the way they do things as far as handing a lead off to you. It's a little bit warmer lead. And also we do allow a title company and a lender to help sponsor our Zillow spend. So we're spending about $1,700 a month out of our pocket, and we're getting probably a 10-to-1 return on that right now. And it's, I think Zillow's changed a lot. In our area, they are doing the leads, the pay for leads, not the referral program. And so we're paying for leads, and it's been pretty good. We really do like Zillow. I know Zillow's kind of a dirty word in real estate business, but it does pay off well for us because of the nature of business and being in a small area. I always think about young agents and newer agents, sort of agents below $10 million a year in sales when I talk at a panel. And sometimes I think when you do $20, $30 million a year, people talk more about technology and spend a lot of money. Really the key when you're a young agent or a newer agent, or say below a $10 million a year agent, is you need to watch your money. You really need to be smart about it. You need to take your profits out first. We read the book Profit First, and it really talked to us. Matter of fact, I got Profits First certified with Mike Michalowicz, the author. And that is one thing that's super important today. That you gotta make money. You gotta have profits. Otherwise, there's really no sense of being in business. But from a technology today, talk about adapting. COVID-19 has been absolutely tragic in this country. But from all tragedy, something good should happen. And we immediately turned our business like a speedboat and sat down for 2 days, went through all of our expenses, decided where to up expenses, to cut out expenses. We got thrown into video. We weren't very good at video. I'm 55, really wasn't my thing. Now with every listing, we do a Zillow 3D video because it's free, and also if you post the Zillow 3D video on Zillow, it pushes your listing forward for the first week. We also do I Spy 360, and we do a walkthrough video. So in the way we adopted for coronavirus is we have a walkthrough video we can show people. We shoot with a gimbal. We have the Zilla 3D video, and for some listings we have an iSpy 360, which looks a little bit better. Aside from that, let me know if you have any questions.
Wow, thanks, Eric. That was some awesome information. You know, a friend of mine told me once, you are your number one investment. Your business is your number one investment. Sales first, pull your profit out, then pay your expenses. Don't ever forget that. Otherwise, you're going to be broke year after year after year. You got to pay yourself first.
Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm building my business, and that's kind of, I'll say, hooey, to keep it clean. You got to make money, otherwise there's no reason to be in business. This is not a business that you can just build and be profitable down the road, because it's very complex to run a team and be profitable. And really, when you're younger or newer in the industry and not run a team is really your sweet spot for profitability. And a lot of people kind of kid themselves, like, I'm building a business for down the road. This is not a business you can really sell. Glenn is an absolute genius the way he set up EXP, because the stock comp and the revenue share is our retirement, and it's amazing. Like, I every time I see him, I just want to hug him, because what he's built for us has been great. I do want to mention one thing too. If you're a newer agent, I would definitely follow Hank Avick. I would follow Monica Weekly, Jackie Bowman, and Shannon Milligan on Facebook, and just look at what they do. And the first three are coaches, but they put a lot of free content out there, and I've spent time with these people, and they're amazing and really good at what they do. And I would just.
Can someone put that in the chat?
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving forward real quick. Renee and Mike, if you can tell us, what is that one strength that you possess that makes you stand out from the rest of your peers?
I'll take that, I guess, because
Good. Yeah, I wasn't fast enough, but go ahead.
That's so funny. So I think, everybody says this, right? But really, we have stats to show that our listings sell faster and closer to list price than most of our competitors. We've been using 3D technology since 2016. We bought our first Matterport camera at Keller Williams reunion, I think. We do the video walkthroughs, always professional photos. And because of that, I think that when we present, because like I said, we do a lot of sell buys. And so when we present our contingent offers, we can show that agent on the other side that we really are going to be able to get this listing sold, and that builds a lot of confidence within our realtor community. And so I know it's like, everybody says, oh, our listings sell for more or faster, but they really do. And that really gives us an edge with those listing agents that are representing the sellers that our buyers want to buy, if that makes sense. And then just the community part of it, making all of our clients, we bring them into our friend circle, and then our friends become our clients too. So it's this really cool community. We do community events, and we just really make our clients feel like they're part of our lives. And that makes it really fun for everybody, I think.
Awesome information. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Mike. Sean, can you elaborate on your super strength that puts you over and above everybody else?
Yeah, I think my super strength kind of is twofold. One, it's absolute massive action, and I have on my actual signature block, it says, a team that won't be beat can't be beat. And I just don't quit. I absolutely push it. I drive, I go hard. I have that massive action. But I think the second part is I have great local knowledge. And building on some of the stuff that Eric had said earlier, was that, when I go out, I see people all the time. And when I see those people, I'm like he was talking about the grocery store and things like that. I'm seeing all kinds of people in my community all the time, and I'm still in the guards on the weekend. People say, Sean, why do you even stay in the guards anymore? And I said, well, it's good for the insurance. The real estate doesn't give you a great insurance program, but I probably triple what I make in the guards by the people that I know there that I'm staying in contact with in the real estate world. I've just put another property under contract a few days ago for one of my friends from the guards. So that is another circle for me, is knowing those people. And I had all the parties in high school, and I had all the people over, and I drove all the back roads, and might have slung a beer bottle or two out the window. And so I got to know all those places through the years. And so when people talk about something, they know exactly what it is. But the the profit part that Eric had brought up was another crucial part. You know, you need to make money first. And how do you do that? You make it by massive action. So if you're a new agent and you're just getting going, I'm doing things completely different now that I've got a lot of sales underneath my belt, that I've got a staff working for me. But if you're a new agent, you just have to hit it hard and make sure you're making money first. I did things completely different. I didn't spend any money at first, but I knocked on every single door of every single FSBO there was out there. I didn't drive by without pulling around. I'd start turning around and go back. I would take a list and I would go from Zillow, Craigslist. We have picket fence here, any avenue that I could find where there was a for sale by owner. And I'd make a map of those places, and I would make a map, and I said, you know, I'm going to go to these 2 towns this day, and I plan on going to 12 or 15 houses. I'm going to knock on every single door. Plenty of those people have already had realtors call them or maybe shoot them a text or an email, but how many of them had somebody knock on their door? And so I knocked on door after door, and when I was walking into the yard, I wasn't walking up to the door going, okay, cool, I'm here to sell your house. I was scaling their yard with positive intentions to go, okay, who is this person? What are they about? Oh, this guy's got a motorcycle. Yeah, I got a motorcycle. Oh, look, this guy likes to fish. Yeah, I grew up on Lake Champlain. I fish all the time. Oh, look at this guy. He's got a couple, an old box of decoys in his backyard. I love to hunt. I do that a bunch. Look for things that you can find with somebody so that you can instantly build rapport. So that when you knock on their door trying to help them sell their house, you also can build rapport instantly, or maybe even knowing one of the neighbors, things like that. So I build rapport quick with people because I know a lot of folks. I happen to be 5th generation in my town. My father's cousin's a town clerk, you know, things like that. So having that local knowledge does definitely help. But if you don't have it, go get it. Right? Make sure you're talking to all the people out there in the community and get to know them first. But yeah, now that I've got my feet underneath me, I am spending the money in Zillow and things like that. But the reason for that is because it's easier for me. I'm buying time back now. When I didn't have as much money to spend in real estate, I had time, right? So you either got time or you got money. When I didn't have money and I had more time, then I would knock on those doors and if you took every penny I had right now, I'd do it again. But I'd do it with even more massive action because now I'd be in more of a frenzy to make sure, geez, I'm close to retirement than I was 8-10 years ago. I need to work faster to make things happen. So work with massive action. Have the Dave Ramsey attitude of being cheap with a Grant Cardone mindset, and just go after it hard. And then once you get things set up, which is kind of where I'm at now, and I'm pushing the team and helping them win, and we're all winning together, well that's where the fruit comes. But I spoke with a 40-year broker who had run the largest firm in our county for years, and actually that was where I started, was with them. His dad was retired at that point. He was a old buddy of mine who I actually started with for the first couple of years, and I used to ride around with this old bird just to get information, and learn more from him. The guy had 40 years of experience and was retired. And he said, Sean, my best years in real estate were not when I ran a massive firm. And he was the president of the Builders Association for the state, things like that. It wasn't when I ran a massive firm. He goes, that's when I made the most money. But it's not when I enjoyed real estate the most. When I enjoyed real estate the most was when it was just me and a really good admin assistant. Not an admin assistant, a really good one. They're your most important hire if somebody is going to be stepping up from being just a loan agent, is your admin. You need them first before you step into having buyer's agents, right? When you have a really good admin, again, really good, not just an admin, then you can take those next steps. What that does is give you an extra arm. It allows you to do more, right? And you got to do more first before you can bring on team members underneath you. A lot of people fail with that when they bring on a bunch of team members instantly and they don't have their admin set up first. They don't have their systems in place, right? Make sure you have your systems and your admin in place first before you bring on a bunch of team members. So I'll leave it at that.
Oh, very good. Thanks, Sean. Eric, can you tell us what your superpower is?
Yeah, I have to reiterate the Dave Ramsey and Grant Cardone comment that Sean made. That was amazing. That was like a drop the mic moment there. Our superpower, so we looked at, when I got into real estate, we just looked at what everybody does, what the other agents that are very successful do in our area. And we kind of evaluated their weaknesses and just made it our strength. And one of the weaknesses everybody had was home preparation. Back then they weren't doing professional photography, and they weren't doing staging. So we got into staging in a pretty big way. So our superpower is definitely staging. What we did initially is we just hired a stager to come in and do a staging consultation for them. We paid for it out of our own pocket. It was about $400, but totally worth it because the house would sell much quicker. We also do a lot of open houses. We typically would do 2 to 6 open houses a weekend. I really enjoy them. It's when you can sit in a house and have 6 to 10 people or more come in and talk to you about real estate. It's really something I definitely enjoy. We probably sold about 30% of our listings through open houses in the last 2 years. But from a superpower standpoint, to stay on track, we do our own staging now, and we have it in house. You know, we did farm it out in the very beginning, and we do a lot of open houses. And it's amazing when you do an open house. I just listed a house for $865 or $875 listing last week, and in the current situation, you know, people don't want people coming in their houses and stuff like that. But we do have 2 buyers for that house just because of all the open houses I've done. I kind of know who the buyers are, and we were able to get that house under contract the very first day at $865, no closing costs. So the time that we spend just getting to know people in the community through open houses has been really an amazing superpower for us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric. And Kelly, can you just reiterate your superpower, please?
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that, personal connections, huge. Just being able to have a group of people that are champions for your success. You gather those types of folks by being champions for them. If somebody asks who's a good handyman, you tag your favorite handyman. If somebody wants to know a good plumber, you tag your favorite plumber. Before you know it, you become the local expert. I have people asking me all the time for referrals. These people aren't even my clients. They're just, I'll get a random Facebook message. And so, it's the personal connections is huge, but also another one is just having a really positive mindset. And what you focus on, you attract. So, just listening to audibles and podcasts that really fill you up every day and help you to have that good mindset, it's going to take you a long way. So, I could go into more. I love marketing. I get super excited about, using Canva and creating custom signs and websites for my clients. But, I would have to say the real superpower is just those personal connections and that positive mindset.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yes.
I just want to thank everybody for coming today. Appreciate it. I can't wait to meet you all in person. We're going to be wrapping things up here. We have time for one quick question. Whitney, you had a question. It was to Sean. How are you able to scale from yourself and an admin to a buyer's agent? Could you answer that real quick?
I sure can. Yeah. And I saw a few in the comment boxes there too. Let's start with the admin first, and then we'll go right into the buyer's agent. Hiring an admin is crucial, and as somebody brought up the disc profile, I definitely disc my folks when I'm looking at that. You want to find somebody who's not like you. Many of us that are team leaders are going to be really good at getting out in the public and running things and kind of hitting the ground running. I spend very little time in the office. I make sure that's where my admin works. Why? Because I end up talking to her all the time, wasting my time and hers, versus being able to just communicate on the road, set them up. But once you've got that good admin who's really good at, you want somebody who's like the motherly type and very detail oriented. That's the type person you want. We make the mistake often of hiring somebody who's like us. Oh, this person's bubbly, they're friendly, they're like us, they're my friend. You want to make sure that you go through a lot of people. I actually fired 4 in about a 3 or 4 month period one time because I wasn't going to accept people who were just okay at the job. This was a long-term thing that was going to be a failure. They just weren't made for it to begin with, and they weren't going to asset my business, and so it was a destined failure. But when you get somebody who really cares about your business as much as you do and really has good administrative skills, they're going to take things off your plate, and you'll only know who the best admin is you've had. And once you've had that admin, then you go, wow, that's the new bar. And so it almost takes going through a couple, unless they're good and they're really, an accent to your business, to understand what a really good one is. And so how do you step into that buyer's agent role? At that point, you're going to make sure that you're providing value as a team leader. I can't just send them out there and cut them loose and not have leads for them, right? Why are they coming to you? In most cases, it's for leads. I don't have any business going. Where do I go? I do a weekly team meeting where I make sure that we go over what they got going on, because it matters, right? What they have going on matters, and I start with them first before I go through my stuff, going through all my new listings, things like that. But I make sure they go first so that their needs are coming out first and what they got going on, and I make sure that my admin supports not only me but them as well. All right, so they call her for administrative stuff. They can't get an answer from me; they can go to her, and I've got to give them training. But I think the number one value I give them is leads, right? I'm loading them up with leads and making sure that their pipeline is full. I take very little of my own leads now. I'm still in lead rotation. The only reason I do that is because I need to make sure that I'm vetting those leads like they are. When they tell me, oh, Sean, these leads are junk, well really? Because I closed 2 from that source. And so I got to understand if my leads are working, but I got to load them up with leads. And that weekly education that I give them is valuable. If I've got a really good buyer's agent, I'm going to assume that they probably won't last more than a few years, right? There's a good chance of that. So I want to make sure that I'm adding value, and I need to keep my ceiling bigger than theirs. So if they're starting to grow and they're getting to be that $5, $6, $7 million producer, well, I need to grow with them and make sure that my ceiling is provided that's higher. If anybody wants to send me a private message, I'll be more than happy to share some of my independent contractor agreements. I give them tiered commission splits so that as they produce more, their commission splits go up. As they get more experience, their commission splits go up. Why? They got to have goals to go for as well, right? So making sure that they're tiered commission splits so it gets stronger for them as they go. And in addition to that, they won't want to leave because, well, they're solid for me. But a new agent who has 5 or 6 transactions is a lot more work for me than one who has 40 or 50 underneath their belt, right? They're more on cruise control. I should be paying them more or expect to lose them. So I have to give them better splits. And I was able to do that at EXP. When I was at KW, I couldn't make enough. The splits were too weak there. Our cap was higher. I'm able to keep buyer's agents here. And I say buyer's agents, I let my agents list and sell. So I don't pigeonhole my folks and say you're a buyer's agent only. If there's a listing opportunity in front of them, go for it. Let me walk you through it, right? So I do that concept with it and make sure that they're not only a buyer's agent, although I refer to them that, they list too. But if they don't want to list, if you want to just refer them to me, well, that's fine. We'll play a game on that. But if you want to list and really learn the whole aspect of the game, I want to make sure I'm providing that ceiling for you, because again, if you're holding them back on the listing side, why wouldn't they leave, right? I would expect that. So.
Wow, thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it. Well, that about wraps everything up, you guys. I did learn a little bit today. We're in an awesome company where you can position and harness the cloud environment. You can align yourself up with people that sell way more than you do. Line yourself up with strong leaders, good peers, embrace social media, and grit it through.
Thank you so much, everyone on the panel. You guys did a wonderful job. I hope everyone took notes. There's a lot of valuable information there. So thank you again and appreciate you.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina.
Everybody.